Hi and welcome to another Intros, Vamps and Endings, and this one's an ending. It's a really neat little ending that happens all in one place on the neck. This is what it looks like. In the key of C first, because that's easiest. We play a C, we go to a C7, we have an F. It's best to keep that little finger down on the 3rd fret for that F, 3rd fret of your first string. Still an F, but it makes this next bit work. We take our first 2 fingers and we swap strings. They stay in the fret they're in, we just swap strings. So we get 1, open, 2, 3. And it's missing a note, but it's doing the job of an A flat 7. And then we go back to our C, and then this little run on the end where on the C string we play the 3rd fret, slide it up to the 4th fret, then we play it open, and finally our last chord, C6, no fingers. So to put it all together, C, 2 strums, C7, 2 strums, F, 2 strums, switch those fingers around, back to C, 2, 3, 4, 1, ba-dum-bum. Fantastic little ending. Practice that one for a little while because we're going to move it to another key now. Okay. Because it all happens in those first 3 frets, apart from that little slide up to the 4th fret, but we're going to solve that. All of the chords happen in 3 frets. We can do exactly the same set of moves, but move our nut up and replace it with our index finger. So now, instead of our nut being our open position, our index finger at the 2nd fret is acting like the nut of the ukulele. And we do exactly the same moves, but now we're going to be in the key of D. So we have a D chord, which turns into a D7. Probably both look quite familiar. Now the next chord should be a G, but we're not going to go to a regular old G. We're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to make an F look alike, but keep the bar down. Quite tricky to do that one. Even more tricky is we now have to switch our middle 2 fingers. They stay in the same fret, but they switch strings. And when they've switched, that gives us a B flat 7. That will take a little bit of practice. So, while the commercials are on when you're watching telly, or while the kettle's boiling, pick up your uke and just get used to doing this. It's hard because you're trying to keep the bar down and the little finger in place. You don't want to take those off. But you can release the pressure a little bit so that you're not trying to squeeze those down and move these 2 fingers, which is very hard. So what we get is this. Switch. And then back to our original D. So just take off your middle 2 fingers. Now instead of going up the neck for this business here, the slide we had in C, we can actually find those notes elsewhere. We take our bar, which is at the 2nd fret, and we play our 2nd and 3rd strings. But just before we play that 2nd string to begin with, we slide our bar down to the 1st fret, play it, then slide it up, back to the 2nd fret, and then play our 3rd string. So we get this. So it means we do move out of position, but just sliding down and back again 1 fret. This means you can do this ending in any key. Unlike a lot of our other endings, it's based around finding the last chord of your song as something that looks like an open C. So a C, or a C sharp, or a D, or a D sharp, or E flat, or an E. If we got to the 5th fret, we'd be in the key of F. The great thing about this is you don't have to worry about the chord names because it's a little physical pattern. If you get the first chord in the right place, it doesn't matter what the other chords are. You're using something from your arsenal, something that's tucked away in your pocket. They go, I know that if I do this little pattern, I get that neat sounding ending. It's going to take a bit of practice, this one, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon for another intro, vamp, or ending. Bye.